Sickos Club.
Sickos Club.
Yeah. Hey, come here. You like pro wrestling? We got a little something for you. Two fans, 3,000 miles away. We each been watching for more than 30 years. Celebrate the art form, the action, the homoeroticism. We ain't rating matches. We ain't analyzing stories. We ain't experts. We just sit down, shut up, and mark out! Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out. I'm Blade Daly, and once again, I am joined by the returning Books and Bodyslams. I'm joined by Jeff from Skewered Universe Podcast because this is a very special panel discussion, and we will get into what this panel is paneling about in just a minute. But Jeff,
yeah,
you're from the Skewered Universe Podcast. You're a Sickos Club member. You card carrying member. You don't have the card right now. It's in the mail. But you've had a lot of sit down, shut up, mark out personalities. People who've been on this show, on your show, correct?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. Antoine being one of them.
Yeah.
Who was fantastic. Have on. Pippin has been on. Mm-hmm. Kurt Jangle.
Yeah, Kurt Jangle, the legendary voice of a generation. Kurt Jangle.
Sumo, I don't remember. There's been so many episodes I can't keep track of who all was on.
Is who?
Sumo's it Brett.
Oh, Brett. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Brett's definitely been on.
Yeah, so it was Brett, Sumo Antoine, before. Kurt Jangle, Pippin.
Miss Fitness, Lisa.
That's right.
Yeah.
Miss Fitness.
Yeah, Lisa was on.
See, if I don't have the
so
list
many.
up, I'm like, there's so many.
Exactly.
And that's not me saying any one of them was less than the other because they were all fantastic.
He remembered the most recent one and then struggled to go further back. That's what people our age do. Books, you're back. And
I'm back.
It's nice to have you. It's really nice to have you.
I think you're only saying that because I'm going to be nice to you today, but.
Well, we're going to be talking about your live attendance at AEW Dynamite.
Yes.
And we're going to focus on a really important topic, really interesting topic, the politics of pro wrestling fandom. But first, Books, I understand you have something you want to say to me, right?
Yes, I know. And I'm already regretting this.
Why?
Because you're
No, go ahead.
Fine.
No,
right.
I don't even know what it is. Just say it.
Listen, I've given this Don Callis a lot of shit for how he's treated when Kenny Omega, but not that I love Don Callis. I still hate Don Callis and fuck Don Callis for life, but I'm starting to understand his motives more. Here I am running the Church of Kenny Omega, preaching the good word. And this man has not shown up to North Carolina in like 3 years.
Yeah.
I have not seen Kenny Omega live since Grand Slam 2021 because he's either been suspended or injured. And now he just is like, you know what? I used North Carolina in my intro 4 years because I love Michael Jordan and the Tar Heels, but fuck that state. Fuck showing up. Ungrateful. So you know what, Blade? You were right. Don Callis might be justified in his actions.
Yes! There we go. Uncle Don, you owe me. I'm turning people around.
No. I don't support Don Callis.
Right.
I just understand his motives more.
Oh, no one supports Don Callis. Okay. I don't support Don Callis. I fear Don Callis and I do his bidding. That's kind of the way Don Callis works. Like, for instance, everybody in the Don Callis family has their own agenda. Like, I want to be the champion. I want to be Mark Davis, whatever. And then when Don Callis has his own agenda, which is like, I just want these fucking marks to make me a bunch of money. You know what I mean? And that seems to be the only thing that actually ever happens in the Don Callis family is he makes a lot of money and they all just do what he tells them to do. Welcome to the Don Callis family.
No.
You can call him Uncle Don if you want.
No, I still run the Church of Kenny Omega. I will still say fuck Don Callis. I just understand his motives. And Kenny better show up before I completely turn. Do you see how much merch is behind me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If he doesn't want this to be burned, he better start showing some respect to the Tar Heel state.
I told you before, Books. Look, Kenny's the GOAT. I'm not accepting any debate about it. Okay. He's the GOAT, but I'm just saying he's got some issues. You know what I mean? And respect is a big one.
Yeah. He does not respect the state he used in his entrance for years.
Yeah, he just used you guys
he
for all
did.
you were worth.
And he got a t-shirt out of it that we all ran to buy. You know how many people I saw in North Carolina shirts the other night? A lot.
Like more than 2, probably.
Yeah. There's also a shit ton of New Day shirts in the audience, which was really funny.
Nice. So yeah. So I just wondered if you could say the part that you said earlier.
You were right. Okay. You were right. Don Callis has a good reason to be mad at Kenny and try to destroy Kenny.
So on Wednesday, if you had a screwdriver,
no, I still not hurt Kenny.
And Kenny was in front of you, you'd stab him, wouldn't you?
No, never.
You cost him a cage match.
No, I would not.
Okay, let's move on.
Now you're asking me to complete violence against my God, and that's not okay.
That's true. Okay. Let's see what the chat's saying here. Antoine says, you know what they say about idol worship, that you should do it, right? That it's a good thing to do and healthy.
Yeah, it's a great thing to do.
I try to be
so healthy,
as parasocial as I possibly can be. I think that it's really good for my self-esteem. And I think these people really know me and care about me, you know?
Nick and I had a moment, and I was like, he knows who I am. He knows I've been on Team Young Bucks since the gummy bear spot.
Tino says, hey, if it weren't for Don, we would have Will Ospreay in AEW. I think he meant wouldn't have Will Ospreay learn to spell, pal. Using North Carolina for clout, SMH.
Yeah.
Jeff, that means shake my head.
Okay.
Yeah, I've looked that up before. Scare Glow Books may hate Don Callis, but will she admit he's better than Paul Heyman?
I could have done that before. I'm mad at Kenny.
I think Don is like right next to Bobby Heenan. Like he is right there. Like he's that good. Like Kenny Omega is his Hulkamania that he's devoted to destroying. And I think Don's like Bobby Heenan level. That's where he is. And that's way beyond Paul Heyman. Oh, Blairy Line's asking, did Books Jackson get to meet his idols?
He did. He was very happy. He was very happy. Yes. Yes.
It was like that Spider-Man meme moment.
Yeah. They were all like just pointing at, they had a moment.
You went with your bro.
Yeah.
And Mr. Books as well.
And Mr. Books, yeah. Surprisingly, neither one of them want to take pictures, so it's like, do they exist or not?
The Tobero here has a good read on this situation, I think. Is Kenny just avoiding you, Books? He wants to avoid messing up your relationship with TK.
You know, he knows that it's him, then TK. And TK knows this as well. So, I mean, they know the hierarchy of this love affair.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a love Ponzi scheme. It just keeps kicking up. Tino, hey, I'm mowing the lawn and typing my responses quick. Okay. That is the kind of dedication we need in this podcast.
Yeah. Love that.
Okay. Tino is mowing his lawn, listening to this stream live. Tino, if you weren't so short and I couldn't find you, which when I look down, I have no idea where you are. But if you were larger, I'd give you a hug. I'd be afraid of killing you right now. Always never. Trisha Dora talk to me at Ring of Honor taping. We're practically married. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
That's how it works.
Wow. And I think Cowdog Games is just getting the gist of your torrid relationships with the many men of the AEW verse.
And let's not forget there's also Christian Cage and his turtleneck.
Well, we're going to hear all about that a little later, okay? So maybe like cool yourself down before we get that far. But Jeff.
Yeah.
Books. I brought you here for a very special reason.
Yes.
And it's because I want to talk about something that I think we're all aware of. And that is the politics of pro wrestling fandom. Did I think of that headline and then figure out the topic from there? Yeah, I did. But there is a lot of politics to being a pro wrestling fan in the IWC these days, is there not?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It's like we're, like if you're an AEW fan or a WWE fan, you're basically like warring religions. It's like the Crusades kind of constantly going on, right?
Basically.
And it's not everybody. But it's kind of like saying not every man, just many. So we're wrestling fans. We are one of the most niche fan bases in the world. But we are also one of the loudest and most fervent fan bases in the world. It's why a ton of websites have at least attempted to cover wrestling, even if it has nothing to do with the rest of what they talk about, because it will get a ton of clicks. Wrestling is very popular. The average online wrestling fan, that we would consider like a casual, is like rabid by any other means. You know what I mean? They're like little rabies-infected bats flying in people's faces. But wrestling, just like everything else on social media, has become insanely polarized. It feels like wrestling promotions are the equivalent of like sports teams or political parties or religions now. We're not just fans of individual wrestlers. We're fans of a style that a certain promotion brings to the table. And that's fine, right? Whatevs, right? Like what you like. But being a fan isn't enough for most of us, it seems. We got to hate that other team because we feel competitive with that other team. At least a lot of us. And I'm going to use the word us here because even if I don't meet the standard of everything I'm about to talk about, I am a part of the IWC and they are a part of the IWC. And it's a we thing. It's not a they thing, right? I want to ask you guys an important question before we start. Who amongst us has been an asshole online?
Not me. Me never. Okay, it's my whole thing, all right?
Yeah, so put it in the air. Put her in the air. All right. So being an asshole online is kind of like a rite of passage. Every young person kind of has to have those early edgelord dickhead years, And people my age, Jeff, I think you're a little younger than me. Is that right?
I'm 46.
I'm 46 as well. We're the same age.
Yeah.
In my time, being an edgelord was the coolest thing you could possibly be. Okay. Like in the 90s, get us in an AOL chat room, start talking about some Quentin Tarantino movies, right?
So many hours I spent. So many hours.
Yeah. You put on that Carlos Santana song with that dude from Matchbox 20, and then you just get rolling, man. Oh, wrong chat room. Sorry. Scareglow says that they hate the haters. Fair enough.
Same.
Too Fat to Cook says, LOL, okay, guilty. Antoine says, maybe? Sure. Antoine, come on. Yep. We've all been an asshole at some point. Antoine says, I was going to say, Booksy, you're a fun butthole. Now, there is a clip. Somebody clip that, please. Pippin, I'm always an absolute lovable sweetheart on the internet. Very close to being true, but that's a lie. And Too Fat to Cook bashing boy bands. I'm sorry. Nice. Okay. So I've identified certain types of toxic personalities in the internet landscape. And we'll talk about each one. If you end up with one that I missed, please let us know. So there's two types of what I call crusaders. Okay, these are the people who are just violently opposed to the other. And the first class of crusader are the offenders. And in my opinion, these are the lowest of the low. These are the people who they go look for you having a nice conversation with somebody and they butt in. Like I was talking with a friend of mine on Threads today who was happy that Jon Moxley didn't have a match at Double or Nothing because he's worked so much. And I said, just proves that he's a human being, that he actually needs a day off, you know? And then this guy jumps in and he goes, Mox is the worst. Fuck Mox. Blah, 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 blah. That's an offender.
Can I say something crazy? These are my favorite types, though.
Really?
Because they're so easily triggered by just talking down to them. So I really like messing with them. Because I just tell them to go to cry to their mommy that a woman was mean to them. And then they usually block me.
Yeah, that's true. You know, then their mom brings them the pizza roll she made them. And
they threaten to dox me or send their sisters after me.
They threaten to send their sisters after you?
I had someone say, I was a criminal justice major. So I'm going to send my sister after you. And I'm like, you should know that threatening me on the internet is a criminal offense in most states. If you were criminal justice, but he was going to send his sister after me. I'm still waiting. That was like 2 months ago.
Yeah. He was as much studying criminal justice as I've studied brain surgery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which that's not fair, Jeff, because you almost have your degree. Come on. You're doing really good. You're doing really good. But yeah, these are the people that just want to barge in. They exist to spread misery because they are miserable nothings that have nothing of real value to say. They look, and it's not. I'm going to say this at the top. You know, at this point, I am not here to talk shit about people who like a certain promotion or not. Okay, I'm here to have a fun conversation about how stupid and ridiculous we all are about all of it, because all of us are one of these things. So these people are looking for people talking about AEW or WWE or New Japan or Stardom, and then butt in to people having a nice exchange just to say how fucking lame and terrible it all is. They exist to spread misery, and I don't relate to them at all. So, Jeff, what's your experience here with offenders?
In general, I see them all the time. I've had people show up when I make a random comment. And sometimes I'm just like, I'm just blocking. I don't have the energy. And other times I'll say something back, but in such a way that's like I'm not giving them what they want. So then they just keep like reiterating the same thing over and over, and then resort to calling me names. And I'm like, well, that's fine if you want to do that. However, like I think last week there was one. We kept going back and forth. They was talking about AEW it's a fake company and this and that. I'm like, okay, well, if that's the case, show your work.
Yeah.
I was like, can you cite sources? And he's like, well, you could look it up here. I'm like, if you're not going to cite sources and share your work, then how can I believe that you're saying anything? I go, these are all your opinions. And that pissed him off.
Which is crazy because objectively they are opinions, right?
Yeah.
BJ Dixon's in the house. What's up, buddy? Bleary Line 7. My dad's a cop, and he said I can beat you up for reals. I'm also a Navy SEAL with 31 confirmed kills and 4 Medals of Honor.
Oh, I've heard of that game, Medal of Honor.
Yeah, I've heard of it, Medal of Honor. Yeah,
yeah. So he's got 4.
No, that's a wrestling promotion. That's where people.
Oh, yeah.
Medal of Honor. Yeah. Okay. Cowdog Games, whitewashers of people who have not watched all of professional wrestling history and are revisionists of professional wrestling history. Oftentimes, yes. And so I, for instance, made a joke on Threads the other day that Brian Cage could have maybe tried working out while he was injured. Objectively, you should be able to look at Brian Cage and know that that's a joke, right? Like, but I had this guy show up and he was like, man, fuck you. Brian Cage works his ass off in the gym. And I said, I was being kind of an asshole in return. I was like, LOL. It was a fucking joke, you dork. And he goes, you big ass eyeglasses, you're a dork. And then he started telling me that my bottom teeth are crooked. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like I said, like, I know I'm sexy as fuck, I get it, but stop you're weirding me out a little bit here. And then he goes, well, fuck you. And he blocks me.
You know, this is going to sound weird, but I'm honestly sometimes now kind of excited to be a woman on the IWC, because it usually goes to, I'm going to come find you and do really bad things to you, to you're ugly, back to that comment. So they're not necessarily attacking my looks so much than anything else. So I guess that's 1+ for women on the IWC. I'm not saying they don't, because a lot of men will resort to very low tactics with women too. But I really haven't experienced the look so much.
And can I add, Books is using the term men.
I mean boys.
Yeah,
boys.
Liberally.
Boys.
Yeah.
Very liberally,
Boys.
because none of these can be considered men.
Oh yeah, they also really don't like when you call them a little boy. Like they would like when they say little girl listen to me, I go little boy listen to me. Yeah.
Not fans. Fuck you, mama, 2 times in the house. What up, Blade? What up, Books? Nice to meet you from another fellow Jeff. That's right.
Oh, nice. Another Jeff.
That's right. Yeah. And Blurry Line echoing, Blurry Line's from the UK. And I am an Irish English man. Okay. That is my heritage. And he says, my bottom teeth are crooked. And I do think he's a dumbass. Because he was like going on about my bottom teeth being crooked. And I'm like, dude, I don't even show my teeth in my profile picture. What are you looking at?
I think he got offended that you insulted his boyfriend.
Yeah. You're being creepy, dude. And so that's what I told him. I mean, I get why I'm fun to look at for you, but
see, you're not as tight because you're not as jacked as Brian Cage.
Right. Well, and maybe
you insulted Brian Cage in a joking manner.
Right.
It hurt his feelings and ruined his private time for later.
Right. Exactly. Because now that picture of Brian Cage that he's going to jack it to he's worried he's not buff enough.
Hey, and if he sees this, find me. Come on.
I mean, I could be an asshole, right? I absolutely can be. But I have strong opinions that are going to piss people off. But I can say with a clear conscience that I definitely don't track people down who are enjoying talking about something that I don't like and go in and just start shitting all over it. Like, I don't do that. Like, that's offender. That's offender behavior. You are the problem.
I actually think I've done it a couple of times.
Oh, Books.
I know, but if I go onto a comment and I see someone like it's usually that they're like dissing on someone I like and then like saying like what CM Punk is the best. I can't but help but say, okay, you little punk fanboy, go cry me a river.
Tino Ibarra's making a good point here. I look at Brian Cage and get a little worried for Melissa Santos. She's tiny in real life, and he could accidentally roll over and crush her to death. That is true. That is true. He bumped into me at an indie show one time, and I thought there was just a boulder walking towards me. And Brian Cage is the same width all the way down. Like, his thighs are the same width as his chest and his shoulders. He's not as tall as he looks on TV. He's just this very stout, very muscular man.
He doesn't skip leg day, is what you're saying.
I was going to say, I think Melissa Santos will be fine because I've seen pictures of her scrolling Instagram. They'll randomly come up. She's competed in like bodybuilding competitions, and she's pretty fucking ripped. So I think she's fine.
Antoine says, no, I have, because they were either dissing or being completely disrespectful. It has to be justified. Antoine's gone into offender status a few times. Okay. Yeah. Proud of it. I can,
if they're dissing my boys in defense of CM Punk, I'm coming for blood.
Yeah. So I'm more of a like, if I see you saying like something like, there was years of this where you just see some rando going like, fuck the elite, CM Punk is the only star in AEW, blah, 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 blah. After the first like 300 arguments, I kind of got tired of it and I just started blocking them on site, But I also, I do enjoy arguing with offenders because, like you said, Books, you're absolutely right. They are the most easily baited people
so
in the world. And they really don't have shit after that first comment. Like, if they got to think on their feet, they're fucked. So that's pretty funny. BJ Dixon says, I've met great fans on both sides, but I have been trolled once or twice. And that's the thing. This isn't even really about, like, the guy, for instance, the guy who told me, screaming at me about Brian Cage, huge AEW fan, right? Like, I love AEW. On a surface level, I would have thought this guy and I would have been friends. Mm-hmm. But no. Apparently my teeth are too crooked for him. That's too bad.
I've blocked quite a few AEW fans.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of AEW fans, we're going to get to our second classic Crusader. So we've talked about the offenders, books. Now we have to talk about the defenders. Think you know what I'm talking about.
Hey, I also called them out. Okay? I also called them out. All right?
Yeah, that was a fun Marvel show. Oh, wait. Sorry.
Yeah. The defenders are a subset of people who stan a wrestling promotion so hard that they will defend anything that wrestling promotion does, regardless of how trivial it is. They cannot bear for that promotion to be criticized in any way. They have to, like it would be like, okay, like people break into Tony Khan's home, the police bust in, and he's got a machete in his hand, and there's a bunch of dead people all around him. They would find some way to explain why, like, Tony's a good guy, and that's
it was justified.
Not a problem. And it was not a problem.
It was justified.
And I'm going to say I see the defenders most kind of in the AEW fan base. It's not everyone who likes AEW, but there's enough of them.
You know why? Because we're constantly on guard.
Well, I think that's true. And I would say that I think the WWE fan base isn't worried about WWE going out of business. They're more like, fuck you for even insinuating that anybody occupies the same space as WWE, right? That's kind of more, they're like coming from an offensive position more. Mm-hmm. Whereas the AEW fans, I think, are so worried that AEW is going to be taken away. I think that's a mentality that I see prevalent.
See, I used to be that way, and then I realized how much billions of dollars are.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
But they don't generate revenue, they don't have anybody that draws.
And hearing that the Shaws are like the 13th biggest like sports family.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, they're not going away anytime soon. So like we need like, it's more the other bad faiths now that trigger me personally.
The Tobro said, honestly, I don't mind them if they at least have an original take. There's nothing worse than a parroting bot. And
oh god,
if we're talking about offenders, almost none of them have an original take.
They're
like,
the
it's terrible.
Birds from Finding Nemo going mine, and it's all. This is what Mitchell said. This is what Cornette said. This is what Goblet said. Shut up. Do you have an original brain cell?
It's like, if your whole personality is parroting Cornette or Russo, I immediately just no.
Seek therapy.
Right. Or
you
Bully
don't
Ray.
have the two brain cells to rub together.
Yeah.
To form an original
Bully
thought,
Ray's another one. BJ Dixon said, I know you guys hate JD, and I am still pleasantly surprised with how mature Kevin Knight was in his comments about the open challenge stuff on Wednesday. I didn't hear what he said.
Yeah.
I find these people who are trying to just, like, I could probably get us a much bigger listenership if I just shit on people a lot more and like was way more aggressive, like hot takes and shit. But I don't want to do that because I think that that's not fun to listen to after a certain point, right? But Bully Ray, all of these guys, that's what they do, is they do these hot take things. And it's just so boring. It's so boring. They're trying to get themselves over. As they say, the talent doesn't know how to get themselves over. That's what they're doing. They're getting themselves over with their fan base, whatever that fan base is. Jim Cornette, all of them, same thing.
If anyone knows what it's like to listen to a podcast full of people who just constantly shit on everything, yeah, me. Because I was about to say grew up. Shit, podcasts weren't a thing when I was growing up. When podcasts first came out, there was a ton of people just shitting on every horror movie. So the horror community and the wrestling community online are basically like this in my eyes.
Yes.
They're competing for who can be the biggest assholes.
Yeah. 8-Bit Bruchet with a great point. If TNA is still kicking with all of its many flaws, AEW will be just fine. That is so true.
That is the most accurate statement I've ever heard.
Well, and this is why when people get so defensive about it, it's like, look, it is not my job as a fan to understand why, for some behind the scenes reason, the promotion did something I don't like. That's not my job. I'm just a fan. Like, I give you guys a shitload of my money. I give you my attention. I talk about you online. I do everything I possibly can already. I don't owe AEW anything. You know what I mean? Like, and it's good for me to say, hey, I didn't like this. Or, hey, I thought this MJF promo was misogynistic. Or, hey, like, I don't want a Camille comeback or whatever I feel like saying, right? Like, it is not our job to like constantly rationalize why a promotion does what it does. You know, like it's the same thing as ratings and ticket sales and all this other shit. I'm just a fan. At the end of the day, like I don't make any money if the company sells more tickets or not. I just like it. I watch it because I like it. And when something happens that I don't like, I don't need to feel bad about not liking it. I'm just going to say I don't like it. And I'm just a loud, opinionated person on the internet. And you can choose to listen to me or not, you know?
I'm going to, you know, because I get a lot of shit for being a shill. I will say I had a very prominent threader reach out to me. He was a former wrestler, saying that he was very proud that I was standing on my ground with the Paramount AEW stuff. And he goes, I know that is hard for you to say. And I said, thank you. Because I got a lot of shit for that. And I'm still standing on my ground with the Paramount stuff. But
totally.
So you could be a defender and very out and loud about the things that piss you off that the company has done. Like one women's match on Wednesday.
Well, and really just like the women's division is kind of going backwards right now. Like it's really felt that way for the last few months now, where you're getting a lot less women's wrestling, a lot less women's screen time. And I'm starting to see people, you know, there'll be one match on the show in the 10:30 death slot or whatever. And then they'll say, yeah, but you know, with all the promos and all that other stuff, there was like 17 women featured this week. It's like, no. And like 70 men.
It seems to be happening throughout all the promotions, which I think people are letting it slide because, you know, and I think that's even more reason to be louder, but that's just me.
Yeah. The women deserve as much time as the men on the show. So if you have a slate for, say, 6 matches, then 3 of those go to the women, 3 of those go to the men. And I'll argue a lot of the time with AEW, I've been, in recent history, I've been enjoying those women's matches more than the men. Not to take anything away, but the women have been far more entertaining.
Well, and I mean, to each their own, right? Like, you like what you like, but I think Blurryline makes a great point here. TK's a billionaire who demands creative control of his wrestling company. He can handle it if we don't like something he does.
Yeah. He's not hurt.
Right. Like, AEW's the most responsive wrestling company I've ever seen to fan feedback. Sometimes too responsive. Remember when they like literally changed Mina's music in the middle of the show because people on Twitter were shitting on her new song? I mean, that's like too responsive, right?
I'm still irritated by that, by the way.
Yeah. And it's one of my favorite things about AEW and Tony Khan is that he is very responsive and he doesn't go, your opinions are trash, and then hires streamers to parrot that you shouldn't have opinions.
What was funny about the Mina thing, just people were like, oh, change your music back. This sucks. They started to do the same thing with Okada. And then after about a week, they were like, oh, it's fine.
You have to let themes grow.
I'm like, but you shit on Mina's theme? Come on. She did a whole new dance routine and everything.
BJ Dixon said there's a difference in being honest and simply having a bad faith take. I've found a lot of honest podcasts and make good friends doing content creation. Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, like, it's my right to say I don't like something, right? And it's my right to complain about something like I was just doing about the women, right? But the people listening to this podcast, is their right to say, you know what, Blade, you're full of shit. Like, fuck this. I don't want to listen to this. And they don't listen to me, right? That's the risk I run. That's the risk Tony runs. That's the risk everybody who makes anything runs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you tell me you don't like something and you tell me in a way that I can hear and respond to, maybe I will, or maybe I'll go, this guy's fucked. Fuck him. You know, like, who knows? It's your right to do it. And like, you should use your voice. I'm not advocating for people to be assholes. I'm just advocating for people to maybe take a step back. I think a lot of us lived through the highs of the beginning of AEW and then the CM Punk brawl out, fallout kind of 2 years that happened where AEW was literally could do nothing right. Everything was like, look at what a joke this fucking company is all the time. Right. And it sucked. It absolutely sucked. I remember before AEW and what that was like. And when WWE was horrible and had nobody to credibly challenge them or push them at all. I don't want to go back to that. But you can't worry about narratives getting started and getting out of control. Like, it does no good to go argue with people who really don't have any interest in having a good faith discussion in the first place. You're not going to change their mind and they're not going to change yours. So I'm just saying, on the defenders front, I understand where your heart is, but you're really not doing yourself any good and you're kind of annoying. You know, you can take it too far. You can take it too far is all.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. Blurry Line 7, I still think the Hangman stipulation was stupid and it is not added to anything. I think allowing Ronda in when people are blacklisted for holding her exact beliefs. Yeah, fair point. Fair point. For me, I mean, just for me on the Hangman thing, I'm waiting to see how he comes back, I think. But I agree with the Ronda thing. I like the sexy pirate rave music, not going to lie, for Mina. Yeah. Yes, and Blurry Line, we've talked about this through. In my honest opinion, they made a mistake by debuting Swerve's new music before he turned heel. It did kind of telegraph his turn heavily. I think it's so much better when he's a heel to have that music. He did say something the other day about like talk to the lawyers about why he can't use his old song. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm not sure if he's being a troll or what. 8-Bit Bruchet says, clearly TK knows how to give the women more or even equal time. Look at Ring of Honor. That sometimes makes me wonder, not that I think it's true, if WBD has given some sort of input regarding that. You know, whether WBD has or not, I would say Tony Khan is very concerned with the ratings.
Yes.
That's a huge part of how the wrestling world works, sure. But you have the talent to let these... Can't just be Mercedes and Tony carrying this whole thing.
And something that BJ said too is that Willow and Tekla, they're great wrestlers, but their storylines are very much overlapping and very similar right now. When you have two women that are so freaking good that are on the same, who could be the same level as a Mercedes and Tony, if you gave them the freaking time and actual real storylines instead of having them all keep merging into one. And it's like merging them into one is just an excuse to have less women on the or put more women on the show in one match as opposed to doing more.
Yeah. And I think that's where they need to look at their own creative for the men's storylines, because they've had multiple men who have tried to vie for that top men's title, but they have their own stories going so many different directions. But it's like with the women, they go, well, you all branch to this one conclusion. It's like, no. I want to see Mina teaming up with people, but I want to see her tear an ass in the backstage area trying to determine who killed Tony. Well,
and so like I think like right now they're doing something kind of different, which is a non-title storyline with Hikaru Shida, right? And that's cool, but it's like it shouldn't be this rare that you guys do that.
No.
You know, it's a great story. It's actually maybe my favorite story that they're telling right now. Is Shida being this kind of manipulator, right? And her showing how far she's come as a promo and stuff has been amazing. But right now, they're kind of using Tekla and the Sisters of Sin, like the Triangle of Madness, is like everybody kind of runs into them at some point, and that's where the story always ends. And they're not made to look fearsome enough to justify that. You know, Tekla is great. It's not her fault. It's the booking, you know? Blurry Line 7 does make a good point. You got to hand it to Vince. He created modern wrestling. You absolutely should be assholes to those people. It's a social responsibility.
Yes.
Vince McMahon did not create wrestling. He is not the reason we have wrestling. He didn't save wrestling.
Elsewise, multiple times by so-and-so with lots of numbers.
Right.
That wrestling is WWE and Vince McMahon. And I should have more respect.
Yeah.
I mean, he helped normalize misogyny.
I mean, he very much normalized that. Larry Lyons, we're also tweeting about not getting booked, so I feel like his social media posts are very much in kayfabe at the moment. They definitely are.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious when people think that Swerve is unhappy. Yeah.
I want to see more wrestlers doing that. Like, Ricochet can cross the line, but he's constantly in character on social media. Swerve is being in character right now. MJF is always in character. More of that. Social media has ruined a lot, but now can be used to advance storytelling, and they need to do that more.
Well, and I think that's what the modern kayfabe is. Ricochet definitely went too far with the one comment he made. I think that at the end of the day, like what he's doing generally is pretty good. The Toboro says maybe not rage at every perceived wrong turn they take, whoever it is. I think, I've watched wrestling for 30 years. I'm not going to sit here and fucking freak out over 2 minutes of a 2-hour show that I didn't like. You know what I mean? I'm a podcaster, so I'm going to talk about a lot of things because otherwise I'd have nothing to talk about. Right. But like, we don't need to like freak the fuck out over these teeny tiny things, which I think a lot of the hot take kind of culture is the bully rays and stuff. It's like, they have a segment of them ranting about something longer than the actual segment was that they're ranting about, I
will say I was guilty of defending two things. One, Death Riders. Simply because I was like, just wait and let it play out. I was like, I know it's slowed down. I know things have I'm like, we got to see what's going to happen, because if it's going to end just abruptly, then it's just going to happen. Let's just see. The biggest one, though, was when people came out going, why the hell did Tony give the Guns the championship belt? Why are they the tag champions? I'm like, dude, I told them, I'm like, you need to let this happen because they only have it as they're a transitional champion. They're giving the shit heels, the chicken shit heels, the titles. And then they lost them. I'm like, do you not see that that's how this works?
No, they don't.
No, they don't. And the fact that they go, why did you give the fucking Guns the titles? That's why. Because they look like undeserving assholes who cheated to get the titles, and you're supposed to hate them for that. That's the whole point.
Yeah, I was excited when they won the titles.
Yeah, so with promotions or with wrestlers or whatever, if they do something like blatantly fucked up, we can call them on it. And I just consume the product and I say how I feel about the product. It's not ruining my life or my day. I'm just saying how I feel about it. And it shouldn't ruin your day if somebody else dislikes something that you like. Just ignore it. Move on. There's probably plenty of people who agree with you. That's
what I'm trying to focus on now. Unless someone really pisses me off.
Yeah, just like I said, like I think that there's plenty of defenders in the WWE fan base, but they kind of come across more as offenders because they're very aggressive in the way they talk. They're not worried about it going out of business. I'm not worried about AEW going out of business. Think about this. When AEW started, Jim Cornette literally was, before they even had a show, Jim Cornette was calling it an outlaw mud show that would go out of business in 6 months. They had every Legends contract guy sitting there saying, this isn't wrestling. This is horse shit. This sucks. Blah, 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 blah. And here we are 7 years later. CM Punk pulled the shit he pulled and fucking threw a fucking bomb right in the middle of the company. And we're still here. And they're doing better now than they were then.
Yeah.
So AEW is going to be fine. Is the point. Yeah. Like, I think the time to be scared might have been before that first renewal. I think I was a little more worried about AEW than I am now. But they're already trying to kick that shit up again. Like, WWE doesn't think AEW is going to get a TV deal next time.
My question is, why would WWE have any insight? Like, they obviously have made it very clear that they don't want AEW around because it has forced them to do better as a company. And now they're completely just kind of fucking that all away again because they're so convinced that the landscape is in their favor when it's not.
They haven't had any real competition to force their hand to do something, and they don't know how to deal with it. 4 to 5 guys they could rely on. Nobody else matters.
Saying that as an owner of a company.
That's what I keep going back to. That's what I keep going back to. I'm like, you're not building up anyone else because you want to rely on Cody and Roman and Randy. It's like, at a certain point, those guys are going to retire.
Well, I think what did it for me was I had heard some rumors that there was some rich guy who was talking about starting a wrestling company and that Jim Ross was talking to him, maybe Chris Jericho. And then I heard in the ether somewhere that maybe the Young Bucks were involved somehow, or Cody Rhodes. I didn't even hear Kenny. He was the IWGP heavyweight champion at the time. So I remember, though, when I saw that Raw where Vince and Triple H and Linda and Stephanie and Shane all come out and they go, "We know the show's been bad and you guys deserve better. You're the authority now." My thought was, wait, you knew this whole time the show was bad? And you're just now saying it? And you're just now trying to do something about it? What's the big fucking deal? And then like 3 days later, All Elite Wrestling got announced. And it's like, they don't know how to handle it. That is true.
And what's funny now is instead of admitting that the show is bad, they're blaming the fans for complaining.
Right. Antoine says, "Jeff, you should have told that to Blade, LOL, about the Death Riders." Everybody told me that about the Death Riders. All right. I got enough.
Yeah, I didn't need to tell Blade. People were telling him, and here's the difference with me. Blade made his point, and he has every right to have that opinion. I'm not going to tell him he's wrong. I'm not going to try to convince him otherwise. I stood on a different opinion, and I just say, hey, maybe let it play out. But if that's the way you feel,
look at how smug he looks right now. He's been told he's right twice in like an hour.
I'll tell you what.
Don't worry. On the other show, the Great will not be down.
My name is Loud and Wrong Blade Daily. When I'm wrong, I want to be.
You're loud and right.
I want to be out there with it, And then when I'm right, people are very quiet about it because they don't want me to get a big head, which I don't know why they'd worry about that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get a big head. Okay. Blurry Line says, in my honest opinion, Tekla has been booked pretty poorly as champion, especially as world champion, but her individual performances have absolutely overperformed the material and made it okay. 100%. I would say since Mercedes dropped the belt to Willow, the women's division has been sliding as far as focus. And when I say Tony Khan's too fixated on the ratings, it's like he only has faith in Mercedes and Tony.
Yeah.
And Tekla is not getting an honest opportunity to become that breakout star. She's made it undeniable. That's on her that she's done that. It's not because of Tony.
No, I'm sorry. I still laugh. I say in my head all the time, okay, but I was fired from Japan. Girl is so funny and good and quick-witted. Push her. Like, you have another Tony Storm right there. You have faith in her to put the belt on her. Push her.
8-Bit Bruchet, AEW may have more and better wrestling on their shows, but we have the Gingerbread Man. Oh, shit.
Remember when someone told me that AEW was getting more carny by the day?
I do. Also,
does anybody know what the Gingerbread Man thing was?
I'm
still confused about it.
I don't really know. It was like there was somebody dressed up as a gingerbread man that got beat up by somebody on the show, and then they had the funeral for the Gingerbread Man. But apparently they used a ton of AI art to like show pictures of the wrestlers with the Gingerbread Man at like theme parks and all this stuff because they were having a funeral for the Gingerbread Man. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Antoine makes a great point here because AEW is business to consumer instead of business to business, meaning their sponsors aren't their first priority. It means they answer to us, not the advertisers. You literally do not matter as a WWE fan. 100%. 100%. Larry Lyon, I think you'll find the WWE being bad in 2019 was actually Constable Corbin's fault. That's why they fired him. Tino says, Blade, I heard you say the other day, and I did not believe it. Looked up that Raw segment. Cannot believe that was a thing they did in front of an entire stadium. We know that we suck and the show's bad and you deserve better. You're the authority now. And then within like 2 months, they just went right back to doing the same old shit. Like
your Vince McMahon impression is pretty spot on.
Yeah.
I gotta say. I sometimes get really worried. I think he's in the room.
And then there's Paul McMahon.
Don't forget the dead man shows up every now and then. Vince made everything better for the pro wrestling world, sports entertainment. He gave me one more soul to do my podcast. The MAGA Taker.
The MAGA Taker. I would say too many stat rematches. He only seems to, which says a lot about the rest of the roster. You have to trust your wrestlers and audience. This is why I'm ecstatic that they are putting so much time into making Willow the face of TNT. Agreed. I mean, I think that is good. And I think that ultimately they have a great women's division. It's bursting with talent. I think if you look at the Brawling Birds and you look at the Divine Dominion, you see that those titles are a way to build new stars, because I think Alex Windsor means more to the roster than she ever has right now. I think Megan Bain being with Lena Cross has an aura that's like, if you see them in person, you're just like, holy fucking shit. Like, unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable. Tino Ibarra says, all I know is that Ray Phoenix was at the funeral for the gingerbread man, but can't get booked on the show.
Oh man,
boy.
It's such great humane treatment.
The next class of people, yeah. Well, thankfully he's out of prison. You know what I mean? Thankfully he's out of jail. And again, not if you like WWE, you probably hate this podcast, and I completely understand why. It's really not for you, because I don't like WWE.
We also just were shitting on AEW and how they booked women.
Yeah.
So I mean,
so basically no one should like this podcast. Yeah, let's chase everybody away.
Opportunist here.
Let's just get rid of all the listeners. Work rate bros are my next category. You may recognize these people as essentially the equivalent of hipsters. Nothing can measure up to the hella obscure or old or foreign wrestling they watch. They know more than you. They understand match structure and storytelling better than you. American wrestling is basic and ridiculous by their standards. Even like modern Japanese wrestling is basic and stupid by their standards. They have never wrestled before themselves. They've never been trained before. Many of them are like in their early 20s. They are to be ignored at all times. They have nothing to contribute except a snide sense of self-congratulatory fandom.
You know who that also sounds like? A little bit of like Meltzer.
Oh, big time. Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Dave does come across that way sometimes. I would also say another guy, and I it's a guy that like I see some value in his analysis and stuff, but sometimes it just gets to be too much. Is David Bixenspan. He used to be he's on Blue Sky, but he gets a little too far up his own ass about like wrestling, and he comes across as that hipster, like I know more than you, man, kind of thing. The guy who likes all the bands you've never heard of, or some like French jazz band from the 40s is his biggest influence or something. And it's like, come on, man. Like, you sound like an asshole right now, you know? Just.
Oh, you like Pearl Jam? Have you heard of Oysters for Ontario?
Hot take. They are probably slightly more annoying than the offenders.
They can be. No, you can want to just crack them like a fucking egg. I've had times where I feel I have fallen into defender, and Worker rate, bro. I've fallen into that a few times.
Oh, have you?
Well, like when people talk about, like, just listen to somebody shit talk Okada and Kenny to me, and I become a worker rate, bro, fast.
Oh yeah, no, same. Because there was one person I blocked the other day for their very stupid opinion because I wasn't even gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't gonna do it.
I don't understand it.
Blair Line says, I've never had a personally bad experience with Bixen Span, but he kind of insists upon himself. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, he's not a bad dude. Like, I have subscribed to his podcast. I paid him money to listen to him talk about wrestling. And I've learned a lot from him and Chris Zellner at Between the Sheets podcast. They have a great podcast, but just sometimes it's just like, David, shut up. Shut up.
In the Sheets, is that an Isley Brothers podcast?
Oh, hey. Hey. No, it's a Barry White.
I'm trying to find this person. I re-downloaded Blue Sky, which I don't know why.
Wow, you completely gave up, did you?
I every time I go onto Blue Sky, there's drama, and I just want to leave.
Antoine's giving it back to us a little bit. He says, hey, leave Dave out of it. Can we give him the love he deserves before he's gone? No one has dedicated their time more like him. And books, he is known as a Bucks Kenny guy, and they go to him.
I know.
We love Dave. I honestly think Dave.
I like Dave, but I don't like how he treats women. And
the way he talks about women's wrestling is very uneven. I agree with that.
That's my biggest issue with Dave Meltzer is how he holds this time in wrestling for women, and he has not really moved on from it. While he has learned to grow with the men's division, and that's the only thing that really bothers me. Because
no, I agree. I mean, I think that, All Japan Women's is the gold standard that he's always comparing all women's wrestling to, and that would be like if Dave had the gold standard was All Japan men's wrestling from the 90s, the style Kings Road, where that Eddie Kingston loves, where they were dropping people on their fucking head all the time. And fucking Misawa died in the fucking ring because he literally decapitated himself taking a move without his head actually falling off. Like, he broke his neck that bad. But Dave doesn't hold everything to that standard. Like, he doesn't. He praised it at the time, but he evolved with wrestling in the men's. He hasn't with the women's. And it is a double standard. I love Dave Meltzer as a historian, especially. He is extremely knowledgeable. He is one of the very, very, like, when people say who's a wrestling journalist, like a real wrestling journalist, my grand qualification is really simple. Do they issue a correction when they're wrong? Because that's what a real journalist does. Dave does do that.
Yeah, no, I have respect for Dave as a journalist, as an historian, just not so much when it comes. I don't listen to his women's.
No, I wouldn't either.
That's about it. I don't like. I just think he's very unfair with women. So,
like, Dave has always been a bright part of Dark Side. As much as I hate to say this, the brightest spot of Dark Side of the Ring sometimes, because he brings a perspective of knowing what was going on at the time.
Yes, and having a lot of different connections who can vouch for where he's coming from.
Dave's been more right in things that he has said than he hasn't been. So I don't. Right. If Dave says something, I'm more likely to agree to believe him. Especially when Sean Ross Knapp also says something similar. So.
Right. Well, and like Sean, Fightful got that whole scoop about Evil's new name wrong the other day, right? Like, they were wrong, but I didn't see them issue a correction.
No, they really don't.
They just moved on. That's not journalism.
I like Fightful. What Culture to issue some corrections that I've bothered them on their pages about. Where I'm like, where's your correction on this? Like, you posted this an hour ago and it's already been proven false. Where's the correction?
Benny the Bear 77, the Nardwuar of wrestling is Bix for sure. Yes. I mean, like, yeah, it's just like, sometimes it's just like, Dave, shut up, man. But like, you get that annoying little brother vibe from him sometimes. And it's just like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Miss my little brother. Anyway, Blair Line, I swear they still use the 6 stars in the Tokyo Dome line when we don't listen to what he thinks about wrestling anymore. Yeah, Dave is a historian I'm all about. Dave breaking news and stuff is not really his lane anymore. And the 6 stars thing in the Tokyo Dome, I don't know. Okay. So the next category is the moralists. And I think a lot of the people who listen to this show, myself included, I listen to this show. I also have to listen to this show. And sometimes that isn't as fun as you would think. This is probably my number one toxic trait is I can be kind of judgy sometimes about people who support things that I don't think are good. These
Not
people
me, never.
quit watching the promotion on some kind of moral basis, right?
No,
For me, it was
no.
WWE. There are about a dozen reasons why, and that's totally fine. The problem with the moralist argument, though, is when they start shitting on others for failing to take the same action as them. The truth is that even though WWE is cozied up to Trump, even though they have an active relationship with Saudi Arabia, run Saudi Arabian propaganda, not all people who watch WWE are MAGA. Okay, It's just not true. They simply aren't drawing the same line that I did or you did or whoever did, right? That line isn't in the same place. And as we become connected globally more, it's increasingly obvious that no form of entertainment, I am somebody who spent a lot of time in the entertainment business, it's not made exclusively by good people. Nothing is.
No.
Right?
No.
It's doubly so with pro wrestling, I would say. It's a hustler's business, all right? There's no such thing as an unproblematic wrestling promotion. And what I would say is like, there's always the possibility you could find out something about your favorite promotion or wrestler that you put on this pedestal now, and that will change everything, right? It's happened enough times now that none of us should be so sure that we're back in the good guys. Okay. We just like what we like. And my biggest thing is no matter what you stand on or how you stand on it, you will always make an exception or be easier on the people you like better.
Mm-hmm.
It's just everybody's got their faves.
As much as I don't like Chris Jericho, the person, I still celebrated him coming back.
Yeah.
But I've also been told I've been on a moral high ground multiple times for what I call WWE out for. So, I mean.
well, here's the thing. You can like and celebrate Chris Jericho coming back. I did it last night. I'll admit, I'm behind on AEW right now. Personal life fucks things up, okay? So I saw Jericho's return last night. What was I doing? I was bobbing my head. I was singing along, and I went, what the hell just happened? And I was like, okay, he's back. Fine. That doesn't mean we can't call out Chris Irvine and his wife for things they've done. The character and the person are two separate. And I get people made that argument with Hogan, but I'm like,
Hogan made it a part of his.
At a certain point, I can't do that with that person because
Hogan made it a part of his gimmick. I feel like.
Oswald says, see, this is the part where it makes it hard as a black wrestling fan. You know, many wrestlers who are just trying to get a paycheck and keep their values, which WWE is making harder and harder for them. Totally. And also, you know, that is something, and I have done this in the past, and I've really had to like think about this long and hard. How many bosses have I had that I took a paycheck from that were morally reprehensible scumbags? Several. Yeah. I've worked for people that I disdain many times, and you guys wouldn't have liked them either, you know, but I needed the money. That's true of wrestlers as well. You know, so the people working for a promotion you don't like or whatever, I'm not against the wrestlers. Like I'm against the people running the promotion. Yeah. You know, that's what I'm against.
Yeah, it's a fine line, and I had the realization, giving the field I work in, giving like the type of, you know, big company I'm in, and I'm just like, I can't shit on some of these WWE wrestlers, like a Becky or a Sammy, who I think have very good moral compasses, but continue to work there. And it's a paycheck, it's a work rate thing. They're comfortable there, and it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. 8-Bit Bruchet. I've had to block people I used to interact with regularly on Blue Sky purely because they harassed people for not taking his same boycott stance on WWE. I feel the same way.
That's why I'm not on Blue Sky.
Like not all WWE fans are this, not all AEW fans are this. You know what I mean? As much as we've meandered through this, that is my point.
Yeah, there was this one time where we all, wrestling fans, all came together because when, the AEW Fuck Ice chants became very big and became national news, and everyone's having this shocked Pikachu face that wrestling fans are over. I'm not more than half lean, lean left, and they're all shocked. And it's like the one thing WWE fans and AEW fans can agree on is, no, we don't agree what's happening in this country. So that to me was like, okay, like as much as I think that they should give this company up because morally I can't do it because of this, I have to understand there's reasons why they're still watching.
Yeah.
And I can't hate on them for that because, I mean, I'm watching a company funded by a billionaire. So, I mean...
Yeah, always never said, I don't usually separate art from artists until they die. It's every day as a compromise on what I will let bother me as I try to be entertained and survive. Fuck Jericho and his dude Hager. But I also make caveats for someone like Bobby Lashley that has said things that make me look sideways about his good friend Donald Trump. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, same.
But I, again, I don't know his reasons for it. He hasn't said what his reasons are. So it's... I don't understand why anyone supports Donald Trump, but they do. They do.
That I'm not even going to get into that one. But as far as the morals for wrestling, I think a lot of it boils down to two things. One, it's familiarity. It's what they know. They know the people working there. They know the wrestlers. They know the style. They don't have to put any time into learning new people. The other part is nostalgia. They grew up with it from a little kid. It's the thing that's always brought them joy. So they're like, yeah, I know there might be shit going on behind the scenes, but I still like it. I still want to watch it. Which is why I have friends on Facebook who continue to watch. And internally I'm going, I can't believe that you could say stuff, be like pro-abortion, which is healthcare and this and that. Right. But you're watching that. But I also don't know your reasons why. So I'm not going to say anything because who am I to jump on somebody for not doing what I've done? I have my own reasons. Right. They have theirs.
No.
Oh my God. I'm saying something on the internet.
All the reasons have to be the same. They have their reasons and I have their reasons. I have my reasons and they have my reasons.
I have one caveat and I just thought about this. I will forever call you out though if you on your profile are completely anti-Trump, but support a certain wrestler that's in the WWE who is being accused of very similar things.
Oh, no.
And Vince McMahon. I don't understand how you can. And that's my hard line where I will block you immediately. If you could support Vince and that other person, but hate Trump for what he's done, nope, you'll get called out and put on blast.
I had to stop myself. Seeing people going, oh, it's his last match. He's going to retire. This is so sad, from jumping on them and going, exactly where the fuck did your brain stop working? Like, where's the short circuit? Because you need to see somebody about that. I was like, I can't. No.
Yeah, seek therapy.
Larry Line says, I will admit I was bored scrolling on Netflix the other day, so I checked in on WWE and genuinely kind of did not recognize it as a wrestling show. Since I've not watched in years, there is so little wrestling. To me, I got diagnosed with epilepsy since I stopped watching. When I see clips of WWE, I start to feel weird. Like, it kind of makes me feel a little nauseous. Like, there's so much lighting going on and so much shit going on that it's like, it's a sensory barrage. It's a sensory barrage.
You're not the first person I've heard say that.
Yeah. And
I've seen others mention that.
It was weird because, like, I didn't even consciously think about that while I was seeing it, but I'm like, God damn, dude. It's like being in a weird fucking arcade and there's these wrestlers in it or something. I don't know. It's weird. Blair Line also says, I try not to be super moral on the high horse, but it's very hard to shut up when WWE fans will find their ad breaks immoral, but we're totally fine with sex crimes, abuse, blood money, propaganda, etc. Yeah. I mean, look, the hypocrisy is going to always be staggering in those instances, you know?
CM Punk.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Tell me about it, brother. Tell me about it. So, bro, I can't handle the camera work from a storytelling perspective. It's usually horrible. Okay, last thing on the fan stuff. Then we're going to get to something else. The love all wrestling people.
Yeah.
Lastly, we have the people who say we should love all wrestling. Their point seems to be that wrestling is the same no matter whose logo we're cheering for. They are wrong. I like what I like. I have my reasons. Maybe I don't have a reason, but it's my fucking decision, right? And some, similarly to the work rate bros, think that if you only watch one promotion, your opinion about wrestling is somehow less valid, or you're not doing enough for the wrestling business by only supporting one promotion. And again, that is wrong. If you watch any wrestling, especially on a weekly basis, you are doing a lot for wrestling. That's who you are, who makes the wrestling go round. If you watch any wrestling on a weekly basis, you are not obligated to watch 15 hours of wrestling a week. I can't, you know, like I watch AEW live. That's the only thing that I routinely watch live. And then I get to everything else as I can. Yep. And I make an honest attempt to, but
there's not enough hours in the day.
Right. I'm an adult.
And
I have like a job and shit.
To do. I have books I need to read.
I mean, your name alone says that. They should understand. It's just, these are the same people who will tell you, love all wrestling, but then turn around and gatekeep if you're like, well, I just go to my local indie shows. I don't really watch anything on TV. They're like, then you're not a real fan. It's like, well, I'm going to argue they're one of the more real fans because they're supporting an indie show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And who knows if that little indie show doesn't have the next megastar going to AEW or wherever, or New Japan. We have no idea. Mm-hmm. So don't gatekeep. It's the same shit that I find in the horror community. And I hate to keep relating it to this, but it's the same thing.
That's your domain.
Oh, you don't watch all of this kind of stuff? You haven't seen all the August Underground films, blah, blah, blah. No, I haven't. Because I can't see every movie out there. Just like I can't watch all the wrestling that's out there.
Mm-hmm. You're no less a wrestling fan.
Love it all, but if you don't watch it all, you're not a part of the community.
It's kind of why I started calling myself an AEW fan as opposed to wrestling, because there are a lot of people like that, and I can be guilty of it. I think that if you're gonna put like pro wrestling nerd but be a WWE only fan, I don't really think that matches up.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you're a WWE nerd, but like, especially if you're going to root for another company to go out of business, I don't know. Meanwhile, I don't want WWE to go out of business. I want them to get better. I want them to make better choices.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to put a better product out there.
Mm-hmm. Larry Line says, Punk's groveling. I hadn't had my coffee that morning. Absolutely confirmed to me that he had absolutely zero integrity left in his life. Completely agree. Larry Line also says WWE is literally like flashy lights, waving shiny keys and no substance. It is basically a wrestling themed show with a Subway Surfers video underneath. The Tobero cutting before impacts and for no reason that moves the action along. Yes. 8-Bit Bruchet before I fully.
Get rid of Kevin Dunn?
What's that?
Didn't they get rid of Kevin Dunn?
Kevin Dunn resigned.
They've kept all his shitty camera work.
Now, though, if you see, like, if I see clips, they use those 8K cameras. So
I hate that.
I don't actually like that look. I'm glad they don't do it on Dynamite, but even Stardom's starting to do it on entrances with the 8K, where the super wide, blurry background. It's like, whoa, like it's kind of freaky.
It looks like a video game to me, and I absolutely hate it. I'm like, I didn't tune in to see this pristine, polished video game cinematic. I just want to watch a wrestling match.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And besides, most people aren't going to understand 4K. They're not going to be able to visually see the difference. It's going to look like blurry background, super clear person up front.
Mm-hmm. Antoine Wilson says, yeah, you are, and make sure we continue to do it. I'm just the one who adds Stardom, New Japan, Marigold, and etc. Not enough hours. I'm usually multitasking. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of wrestling that I have on while I'm doing other shit. I mean, like, I can't sit there and just, like, what is that? Clockwork Orange. You're like, like, I can't do that. Tino Ibarra, you're not getting up at the butt crack of dawn to watch NJPW Blade? Poser. Hey, I know. Antoine, Booksy, did you find any books that were banned?
Not this trip, but I do have a whole shelf of fan books.
If you don't know who the first Wrestling Society X champion was, are you even a wrestling fan?
No.
Who was it? Vampiro? Was it Vampiro?
You know, I didn't know what Wrestling Society X was until just a couple years ago.
Yeah. I didn't. I wasn't watching wrestling at the time. That Wrestling Society.
I don't know what
MTV,
I don't know what it is, so I guess I'm not.
It was a show on MTV where they had a bunch of people wrestling in different gimmicks than their actual wrestling gimmicks. I think X-Pac was on it.
So like the Masked Singer show, but for wrestling.
Yeah, I think so. Antoine says, damn, Blairline, that was an excellent point. Those people are the absolute worst. If you cannot recognize one's pain, then not all lives matter or blue lives matter. Sickening. That, yes, all love all wrestling people. We are literally likening you to blue lives matter people.
Yeah.
You are that far down on the fucking scale.
I mean,
not wrong.
I mean, let's look at it this way. When people tell me love all wrestling, and there's a person that says all lives matter, I look at them both the same way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck no.
Yes, I was right. It was Vampiro. He was.
Can we stop letting him be right today?
Yes. All right. Okay, last comment, and then we're going to move on. Scared Glow says, overproduced wrestling is like listening to overproduced Misfits or overproduced horror movies. It kills any edge it may have. Yeah, well, like when the Misfits, when Glenn Danzig left the Misfits and he overdubbed new instrumental tracks over all the original tracks so that he didn't have to pay any of them royalties. You listen to those albums, they sound like crazy demos that don't make any sense. And they had to re-release them with the original tracks on them later, and they're much better albums. Tino Ibarra, hey, if your style is that distinct, people will still know it's you no matter the gimmick. Just ask lucha legend Irma Gonzalez. So my thesis at the end of all of this, folks, wrestling is supposed to be fun. We don't and we won't like the same things, but most of what happens in wrestling isn't that deep. Really, it means a lot to us, of course, but especially if you're Americans, when you look at the world around us, I think we'd all be a bit dishonest if we said we weren't taking out some of that anxiety and anger in the wrestling space. Don't go hunting for conflict. It's a dick move. Don't go creating conflict. It is totally fine as well to block everybody that you disagree with and live in a complete echo chamber if it's about pro wrestling. Okay? You don't have to follow anybody you don't want to. It's not going to expand your mode of thinking, probably at all. Just live in a fucking echo chamber about wrestling. Not about other things, but about wrestling, yeah. Who cares? If you only want to interact with people you agree with about wrestling, that's no problem. You know why? It's because it's fucking wrestling. There's so much negativity in the world already. Why do we have to ruin the things that are meant to be fun? The end. Who's the books and body slams? I feel called out. I like looking for conflict sometimes. The guest. The guest on the show is in the chat.
Let me have my fun, okay?
Arguing with me.
The thing is, when you do that, Books, you are armed and ready for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Other people do it. They don't have a plan. They're just hoping the other person will back down. And you're like, oh, I've got facts. I got receipts. What do you want?
Ready to go.
8-Bit Bruchet is talking about Wrestling Society X. It wasn't like Masked Singer. It was like a normal wrestling promotion with matches and storylines. But it was musical breaks like SNL. It's where I first saw Matt Cross. Son of Havoc!
I'm going to have to look this up. I'm intrigued, but not intrigued all at the same time.
I tell 8-Bit Bruchet literally says, I tell people to block liberally, even if it means blocking me. Look, I have a thing on the Blue Sky that tells me every time I get blocked, like at more than once a day. Like I get blocked regularly. And I'm not even on Blue Sky that much. Like
I haven't been getting blocked.
Because you fucking deactivated your account. What are you talking about?
No, it's active because I went on to see some of the drama that was happening last week.
All right. So, Books, you went to Dynamite this week, right?
I did.
And what were the highlights for you?
Goodness.
Was there anything off screen that we missed?
It's very hard to tell because I don't know when, other than when Justin Roberts comes out and tells you we're at commercial break, you don't know when you're at commercial break. And I don't go back and rewatch the shows because I have a fear of seeing myself in the
okay.
The TV. I will say, and this is going to sound weird, I loved the opening match. I loved the tag match. I thought it was so freaking great.
It was.
My issue is in match like that, they don't give the entrances enough time to breathe. Like, I think they need to switch Cage and Cope's entrances. Cope should have gone last.
First, Cope.
Yeah. Because while Cope is like Asheville, like even though he's not from Asheville, he loves Asheville. That is his home now. Like, no one was really there to see FTR. Everyone was there to see Cope. So I kind of like, that was probably my biggest issue. You don't realize how fast Will Ospreay is until you see him in person, and it looked like, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening here? Like, that man was like moving so quick around the ring. I was like, I don't think I ever realized how quick he was. Now
Hardy hits the ropes and stuff to get the kind of like propulsion that he needs to do the stuff that he does.
Our dark match was Sting Jr. Sting Jr. is very attractive. He's like 23. I don't care. I was very surprised at how cute he was. I think he's actually really good in ring. I'm really hoping that he starts getting on TV because he's actually surprisingly, like, not surprisingly, given who his father is, he's very good in ring. I got Takeshita slutty pins in person are
something to behold.
Amazing.
How do we feel about the Owen Hart Cup?
I still haven't really looked at it because they only put them briefly on the screen. So I just know there's a lot of chatter around it.
Well, I would say so. The men's side looks a little predictable to me. You got Will Ospreay over here, and Swerve directly across, So it's Swerve versus Bandito, Will Ospreay versus Mark Davis versus Jack Perry, and somebody else who's not going to go very far. So like, it looks like it's going to come down to Swerve and Ospreay. I mean, that seems like the obvious conclusion.
Well, and Ospreay winning because the next pay-per-view after that is in Wembley.
Well, and also Ospreay and Swerve first fought at Forbidden Door 2 years ago. So, it kind of, there's a poetry to the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
That feels like the direction. Oh, it's Brody King. So if Bandito somehow beats Swerve, which I don't think he will, there's a chance he could face Brody King, which I thought would be super cool. How awesome would it be to see Bandito versus Brody King?
It would be great, but I don't think they're doing that yet.
They're definitely not doing it yet.
They're not going to do that yet.
Okay. Oh, it's Will Ospreay versus Samoa Joe. Duh. Yeah, Will Ospreay is definitely beating Samoa Joe. Mark Davis versus Jack Perry.
I just don't want to see Samoa Joe do the walkaway spot when Ospreay goes to hit a sky twister.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. That's coming.
Will doesn't need that kind of trauma. He just came back.
Larry Line says, can we call Steve Jr. microtidius minimum since that's the small species of scorpions? Yeah.
That's a mouthful.
That's,
But it's also a funny word. So
maybe Eminem.
I just kept calling him Sting Jr.
Yeah, or Sting Jr. or like, ouch, darn. Then you got that crappy Ace Austin and Will Ospreay match.
Oh, it was
dog
awful.
Shit. Just dog shit.
Awful.
Like,
none of the matches live were awful. Like,
learn how to work, you guys. You know what I mean?
Like,
I have yet to get there, but I have not hated any match Ace Austin has been in since coming to AEW.
Ace Austin's real good.
He doesn't look like a real person he's got tree trunks.
I know.
And he's deep squatting people in the ring. I'm like, what is it? What?
Like,
he's not very tall. And I'm like, you're lifting people that bigger guys aren't able to lift. What's happening?
Yeah, right. You're like 5'3" and you're like fucking pressing dudes who are 400 pounds. Yeah, he's really, 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 really good. And him versus Will Ospreay was fucking phenomenal. I thought, how are they going to top this? And then you get Takeshita versus Darby. Darby Allin. know there's a lot of recency bias in what I'm about to say, but he's having what may be my favorite AEW men's world title.
He's been a true fighting champion, and I love that. Like, he's not just saying he's a fighting champion. He is out there every week, and I fucking love it. Because I sometimes don't... I have an issue where I don't think the world title is ever defended enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, same with the women.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that Darby wants to be out there all the time.
Yeah, well, and that was the thing. So, speaking of the women's bracket got announced as well. And this one blew me away because it went very international.
I was happy about that.
Yeah. On the left side of the bracket, you have Persephone and Hazuki from Stardom. Very cool to see some Stardom talent in this bitch. And you also have Willow Nightingale versus Alex Windsor, which that's going to be a fucking great match. And that's happening at Double or Nothing. Then on the right side, you got Mina Shirakawa versus Athena. That's going to fucking rule. And then you get Sky Blue versus Sari, who is like one of the greatest female wrestlers in the world, a Japanese indie god. I mean, she's incredible. And holy fucking shit. I am so excited for that bracket. That's the kind of shit I want to see. I love seeing the Forbidden Door open a little bit, and not just at that show, you know?
Yeah. Well, I have a theory why it's going very
international.
Forbidden Door. At the end of the women's match, they really lined them up like they're setting for either an anarchy in the arena or some type of brawl match between both groups of women right now. Mm-hmm. So it would make sense to not have a ton of these women in the Owen right now, because they're clearly gearing up for something very big with these groups of women. I saw that. I was like, as soon as Willow came out, as soon as Mina came out, I was like, they are setting Group A, Group B up very soon. And I don't know if it's Double or Nothing or Forbidden Door or what, but they are setting these groups of women up.
Too Fat to Cook says Darby might be defending the title now, like currently, just as we take this. You never know. He might be just defending it in his backyard in a skate park. You never know. Double or Nothing. Here's what we know. Hair versus AEW men's world title. MJF versus Darby Allin. AEW women's world title 4-way match. Hikaru Shida versus Jamie Hayter versus Chris Statlander versus Tekla. AEW men's world tag title I Quit match. Cope and Cage versus FTR. AEW international title Konosuke Takeshita versus Kazuchika Okada. Maybe the match I'm most looking forward to. Mm-hmm. Stadium Stampede. Jericho, Jack Perry, Kenny, Bucks, Shelton, Lashley versus The Demand, Mark Davis, David Finlay, Clark Connors, and Andrade.
This is the match I'm looking forward to.
I think, people have been groaning about the Jericho thing. It's going to be a total blast.
Like, the first Stadium Stampede is what got me into AEW.
Yeah.
I watched that and I was fucking enthralled. Like, there was no way they weren't going to do a second Stadium Stampede without 4 of the founding Stadium Stampede members.
Jericho has the ability in those Stadium Stampede matches to say stuff that is so goddamn ridiculous. If you just listen to him, like, "Oh, I'm gonna hit you with this, you son of a bitch!" And you're just like, "What the?"
They should put a mic on him the whole time.
Oh, I remember when they were like had the ref like in the football field like drawing the line and it drew it right over a guy. Like it's like a Looney Tune. Like it's so much fun. When Hangman and who was it? Who brawled in the bar?
Kenny.
It was Hangman and Jake Hager. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at the end, Omega has the milk and Hangman has the whiskey or whatever.
I just want to know who's going to get run over in a golf court or chased by. I guess there's no Hangman to chase someone down in a horse this year.
Well, they could still have a horse. Maybe that's how Hangman comes back. You never know. So we have that. I think it's going to drastically outperform. And I think them having 7 people on each side just makes it's less about Jericho than it was before. And to me, that's kind of a draw. That's a good thing.
And I think putting Kenny and the Bucks in there makes it more.
Oh, well, and those guys, they're going to put something awesome together, For the Owen Hart tournament match, we have Willow versus Alex Windsor. For an Owen Hart tournament match, we have Will Ospreay versus Samoa Joe. And then for another Owen Hart tournament match, we have Swerve Strickland versus some nobody named Bandito. Holy fucking shit. That's quite a show.
Yeah. I do hope we get a women's tag, even if it's in.
I want Divine Dominion on this show.
Yeah.
I want Divine Dominion on this show. They got both of the Brawling Birds on the main show in separate matches, but still. I like that they're kind of doing the same thing they're doing with Speedball, where it's like Jet Speed, where it's like they're a tag team, but they also go after singles titles. You know, they're kind of like a mini like faction almost.
And I'm assuming we'll have Kevin Knight maybe on the buy-in.
Yeah, or he might end up on the main show still. He's the TNT champion, and Tony Khan is in love with this man. Like, he wants to 100%. Make love to Kevin Knight. Absolutely.
I mean, don't we all? Like, seeing him, when you see him in person, it's like he's incredible.
I give him like a hug, like a really solid hug. Blurry Line 7 makes a great point. It's been a while since we had a true nonsense match from AEW. It has. And I think it's time. I think it's time. I think AEW used to have a little more of a sense of humor than it does now. And I'm not saying that it's a super big deal, but like that bald segment that they did with MJF at the beginning of the show, that felt like an AEW we haven't seen for a long time.
Yeah.
Where all the people he's seeing are bald, and it was so good.
Every once in a while, you need a little wackiness in your wrestling.
You do. You need wackiness.
Wrestling should be a healthy mix of like wrestling and goofiness. Like without goofiness, wrestling I don't think really works well because you have to suspend disbelief.
It's why I love Orange Cassidy matches.
Yeah.
8-Bit Bruchet says, I've got to bounce, but I just had to give some love to my favorite faction of all time, our Trios Champs, the Conglomeration. And Too Fat to Cook says, Mick Foley can bring the goofy. Absolutely. And with that, I got to agree with 8-Bit Bruchet. Folks, it's time to bounce. We got to get out of here. But
I got to go make dinner.
I do want to thank you all for joining us. Ring of Honor is about to come on, and I'm going to go watch that shit. And then I'm going to mix this shit super late because I want to watch Ring of Honor. But Books, they can find you at Books and Bodyslams on Instagram, on Threads, on Blue Sky. You never check it. But, basically, those are the kind of main points of contact. Skewered Universe Podcast. Check it out. Jeff is the host. It's all about horror movies. They just recently talked about the long overlooked sequel, Shock Treatment to Rocky Horror that I listened to with Pippin. It was great. You guys always have a really interesting perspective on horror. I love it. Skewered_Universe_podcast. Find him on Instagram. Find him on Threads. Find him on, it's just skewereduniverse.bluesky.social on Blue Sky.
Yeah, just search for Skewered Universe. I'm the only one there. If you find another one, though, let me know.
Yeah, if you get mixed up with the other Skewered Universe, that's
Texas Death.
Yes, Texas Death. Okay, you guys stay here. I'm going to cut us out. Till next time, I'm Blade Daily.
I'm Books and Bodyslams.
I'm Jeff.
Pro wrestling forever.